Hi, I'm Julie Marie, the creator of The Protective Diet, and I'm so excited to show you how to make your own homemade lasagna noodles. Whole grain lasagna noodles made with whole wheat flour. And you can make it with organic whole wheat flour and save yourself a lot of money from buying those boxed lasagna noodles. I also found myself always out of those noodles, and I have the whole wheat flour at home, so why not try making them myself? And when I did, I found out I didn't even need to boil the noodles after making fresh lasagna noodles. You just layer them right into your lasagna. So let's get started. We're gonna mix our dry ingredients with our moist. And you'll see how easy this dough comes together. There's no reason why we shouldn't be making our own noodles. The convenience factor of always having the flours at home eliminates you saying, oh, I can't make lasagna because I don't have any lasagna noodles. You'll always have lasagna noodles as long as you have some whole wheat flour at home. So we're going to knead this together a little bit in the bowl just to keep it neat. I like using a board or a surface board so that it keeps my countertop clean. It's a lot faster to clean up that way. But you could do this directly on your countertop as well. We'll knead this together like it takes to get that dough together. I want you to rinse your hands off, because if you have pieces of dough that's stuck to your fingers, that will make the dough stick to your hands even more. I'm going to take about a tablespoon of flour and flour up my surface. You could do this directly on the counter as well. Any excess I'm going to put up here to use possibly later. Pressing my dough ball down a little bit just to get each side floured, and if you need more flour, just drag it into it. Using a rolling pin, roll out your dough and then flip it over and make sure you get some flour on that side so it doesn't stick to the surface. And turn it again. We're going to roll this out as thin as we can, as thin as you want your lasagna noodles. Lasagna noodles are very forgiving because they're baked into a casserole dish, so if it's a little bit out of shape, no one's ever going to know. It's going to be layered into the lasagna. This is the pan I'm using, so I'm cutting 4 noodles out of this. So I needed about double the length and double the width. And that's it. That's how you make fresh lasagna noodles. So we're going to cut them into 4 noodles down the middle, each way. And I prepared all the ingredients and took them out, got them ready. I'm preheating my oven for my lasagna. Or you could bake this when you get home from work if you want to assemble this in the morning or the night before. First layer is a layer of sauce. And carefully lift up your lasagna noodles and put them into place. My next layer is a layer of my faux regatta. This recipe is available on protectivediet.com, either under the spinach lasagna recipe or the fresh lasagna noodle recipe. So we're putting about half of our cheese mixture in a layer. Some more sauce. And typically I would use spinach as a layer in here, but I have this 50-50 mix handy, so I'm going to use this. This has spinach and arugula. It's got some baby romaine lettuce, which is fine. It's just another leafy green. Layer it up heavy because this is going to shrink down as it bakes. You could use chopped kale as a layer. You could use some chopped steamed broccoli. I would pre-cook the broccoli slightly so that it gets cooked all the way through. If it's or chop it fine and it will get cooked. I'm going to put a little bit more sauce on here so that it steams down my spinach, my greens. And when you rolled out the noodle, it's a little bit out of shape, you can roll it out some more, or you could just pull it into that rectangular shape. This dough is very forgiving. It's a lot of fun. You'll feel really proud of yourself making this recipe with such simple, clean ingredients that you have handy in your pantry. You save yourself a lot of money, and it's kind of impressive to tell your friends you made your own homemade lasagna noodles. Don't tell them how simple it was. And then our last noodle, you want to make this one look as good as possible. So I'm going to use my rolling pin a little bit here. And then I'll just stretch this out to cover. More sauce. Putting on the rest of the sauce. This is also an optional ingredient. We have our soft mozzarella here. It's a little bit between the firm and the buffalo. I cooked it a little longer to get that firm texture, but that meltable soft texture as well. And I'm just slicing this up, and I'm going to put this on the top of my lasagna. This mozzarella cheese, if you're not familiar with it, it's one of the premium recipes on protectivediet.com, and it melts beautifully, and it's completely free of nuts and oils. We make it out of our yogurt, our Protective Diet 3-minute yogurt. All dairy-free, of course. You could arrange this however you want. It'll melt down really nice. I'll cover this with a piece of parchment paper and aluminum foil and put it on a baking pan in your oven, so that if it does boil over a little, the baking pan catches it and you're not cleaning up your oven. My lasagna has been cooling for about 15 minutes, so it's nice and firm set up so I can cut it. Hopefully it's going to come out in a nice piece for me. This size lasagna, I usually do 1 loaf pan makes 3 really nice servings. Came out as I hoped. Now to give it a taste. Sorry, Jerry, this one's for me. I'll pass it off to you. It's so good. Homemade lasagna noodles have such a great texture compared to the boxed lasagna. So definitely give this recipe a try. You saw how easy it was to roll out the 4 noodles needed to make this loaf-sized pan. Double the recipe to make a larger pan or a lower lasagna. This is a very high-rise lasagna. Most baking dishes are going to be a little bit lower in height, and you could actually just use a single recipe to make a larger square pan that comes to a lower height. So for more recipes like this, enroll in Protective Diet Education and start making your own homemade organic lasagna noodles. Take care and best of health to you.